Alright, welcome to week 12 of the Marshville series. Starting out, you want to take a look at your casual tab, starting with Artificial Island. And you want to make sure that you hit this present icon so that way you can collect your resources, because remember, you can only hold this for 24 hours. But once it reaches 12 Eastern, you want to check in this corner and see if you have an old man icon. If you do, you want to make sure you go into your island and find it so that way you can get those free resources. And if you don't, be sure to check your friends, your crewmates, or people out in the world as long as they have it open. And if you want to find out more about the system, be sure to check out this video. But you still want to visit your island at least once a week. And once inside, you want to hit this triangular icon and you want to go to the exchange store and buy your weekly items because they reset tomorrow. You also want to make sure that you go around and kill your enemies, at the very least your bosses, because they also reset Monday as well. And for those raising pets or doing the Pokemon battle, be sure to feed your pets every day. Next, we have fishing. Ideally, you want to try to get your fishing level to 9. That way, you can buy your weekly standard matrices. And if you're just starting out with fishing, I recommend that you buy 100 to 150 green bait, and then with the rest of your available bait for the week, buy purple bait. Bringing us to Ronnie the Resource Dealer. If you have Nani, this is a pretty good place to go ahead and put one of your teleporters. If you're a boat main, you want to make sure that you buy your mini pelican shards. And you still want to go ahead and buy your energy, as well as your potent omnium crystal. But if you have trouble getting the materials, you can always buy appointed research kits in the mentorship store. Bringing us to appointed research. So you want to make sure that you do this at least every other day, because you do not want your energy to cap, because you can only hold a grand total of 20 energy. That way you can keep getting the 5 free energy a day. Next, we have racing. And if you're someone who doesn't have a lot of Mira, you might want to try to race every month, so that way you can get into the top 100 and you can at least get that 400 Mira at the end. Next, we have ambassador, to where every Monday you can bid on certain areas and you can be the ambassador for the week. Again, if you don't have a lot of Mira, Dominion, or Gold, you might not want to really do this system because it is a pretty good drain on resources. Next, we have the marketplace, to where you want to go ahead and check the bulletin board and see if you see any good deals. And of course, check your monthly board and try to sell at the best price possible, as well as check the stores and see if you see any rare materials selling at a cheap price. And if you have any tame pets, you can always sell them at the Beast Adoption Center for Dominion. And lastly, we have the trap section, to where I recommend that you do this daily capture experience every day and try to level up each area, because you never know when they're going to add new beasts to each section. And also, since we have this Pokemon system, some of those beasts could be very strong, and if you're trying to win this, you might want to be able to capture those right away. And for the people that are doing this Pokemon system, do note that the season does end next week. Then you got your daily bounties, and you want to do Domain 9. This way you can get those keys in Domain 9. And speaking of keys, I still recommend that you save these for patch 3.6. Next, you want to do Mia's Kitchen, and you want to make sure that you do your 3 Claire's Dream Machine, to where you can get these to spawn by killing elites, opening up boxes, or even going for machine parts, because you do have a chance to get some pretty good rewards like red nucleus, special vouchers, and even Titan materials. Which brings us to Vitality, starting with joint operation. Here you want to make sure that you do at least 1 joint operation, so that way you can get this daily first clear reward, so that way you can get some Habuella or Scylla shards and drives. But you still want to get in the habit of checking out this instance affix. If you notice, today we're able to get Habuella shards, so hopefully Saturday you were able to save some vitality. And when you are doing joint operations, you might want to consider doing Spalders or Belt, because those should be the next new Titan materials. But if you already have really good gear, you could consider doing balanced joint operations, so that way you can get more drives. Then we have Interstellar Exploration, where you want to check Vera, as well as check Aspera. And you want to ideally go for your level 3 or level 2 Stargates. And how you're able to tell if it's a level 3 or level 2 Stargate is by looking at the stars above the Stargate. But if you don't have any level 3 or level 2 Stargates, you can always do Dimensional Trials, and simply press go, and then you can use up all of your vitality on it. And you can do the same for Matrix Data Packs or Gold. Bringing us to our optionals, and that's giving gifts to your 1.0 characters. And the best way to do that is to go to the black market and talk to Hopkins, see this island and do the claw machine, or knock out your 2 trainings for the day. Also, if you're low on Mira, I recommend that you do your 8 Mira Fun Zone. But one thing that is not optional is to do your security force missions, since you get old Vera coins in Mira. If you have not already cleared out the gray space, you might want to try to knock out your 6 gray space fishers. But your biggest rewards are in the Twilight Zone, but you do have an 8-hour time limit, so you could wait on this. Bringing us to our events. So hopefully you've been logging in to collect everything from the supply run. For those that spend money in the game, you still have 15 days to get everything from the limited time Tanium purchase. And for those that got Brevey, you have a little over a day to go ahead and get her Gachapon skin. And speaking of Brevey, you have 15 days to still get her. And for how strong she is, if you're a boat main, I recommend that you get her. If you're a healer, she is very strong, but you do have other options. And if you're a Frost main, you could pass. But if you want to find out more about her and her kit, be sure to to check out this video. Bringing us to our dual element reruns, starting with Mimi. Now Mimi is strong, but Brevey just pretty much outscales her. I would say that if you are going to go for Mimi, I would try not to go any higher than A3. Rubelia, very bad pick for the vote team, and I don't really recommend that you roll on her. But if you are trying to do something like the Pokemon system or fly around, getting one copy of her is not a bad move. And Fenrir. Mimi and Brevey do more damage than Fenrir, so she's not that good of a pickup, plus she should be getting added to the standard pool pretty soon. Ling Hong. If you're a Frost main, you could consider picking up a few more copies. Personally, I think it's best just to wait for the next Frost character and see how she pairs with Ling Hong. And for Yulan, this is pretty much the same thing. Yulan is a very strong character, and she can really help support the team by allowing it to cast multiple discharges. But depending on how the newest Frost character turns out, Yulan might be benched from the team. And Icarus is pretty much the same as Fenrir, to where Ling Hong and Yulan do more damage than him, and he's also going to be the next Frost unit added to the standard pool. Then we got our big events. Hopefully you did everything in the version delivery, so that way you got all of these resources. And the same for the Challengers task list. We have a new big event thing, to where basically all you need to do is do a small side mission, and then you're able to donate resources to get coins, which you can use in the limited store. We also have this friendship resonance, to where you have to do a small side mission to start this quest. But once you do, you're probably familiar with this type of event, to where you need to feed them their favorite side dishes, and then you're going to get more points, to where you can pick up various rewards depending on how many resonant points you have. There are a few extra things that they added to this event. You have the limited time gachapon, to where you're able to get 1 pull a day, but this does accumulate. And what this does is give you extra resources, so that way you can make the new materials that is added to this event. And that is in the workbench thing, to where there's going to be certain figurines that they want, but you need these materials to make the figurines. But you can also convert various materials to get the materials needed to make this thing. And when it comes to giving them what they want, if you click on them, they'll give you hints on what items that they like. Also, when clicking on the food, you can just simply press the food in there and you're going to get a preview. Generally 13 to 15 is the highest score, so you can really just kind of click around and give them whatever is going to give you the highest points. Bringing us to Mentorship, where hopefully you're taking your mentees out every week and getting their points up. That way you can eventually graduate them, but you want to at least take one mentee with you, so that way you can knock out these co-op missions. And what you want to buy in the store is a Titan compiling module, the data repeater, the golden boxes, and if you have extra resources, you can buy radar detectors, or appointed research kits. And it's still a good idea to go ahead and collect energy, because I believe they're going to be doing something with this energy system in the next patch. So at the very least, you want to go to this area and hit the energy field collector, so that way you can get that 3000 energy. Bringing us to the weekly tab, to where you want to make sure that you do enough things down here, so that way you can get everything up top. But you definitely want to make sure that you do the missions that give you keys. And I would still save your keys for patch 3.6. Which brings us to the challenges. So if you're doing something like Bygone Phantasm or Frontier Clash, you might want to save your Mia's Kitchen to power yourself up. But starting with Bygone Phantasm. So you want to go ahead and take a look at this weapon buff. If you have a good weapon buff, then you might want to try to climb a few levels. But if your CS is high enough, then you might be able to hit this sneak to next level and jump up 11 levels, as long as you can beat this floor. But the biggest thing that will determine your rank is Sequential Phantasm. If you're able to get a high score in these, most likely you're going to get the top rewards for the week. Wormhole. Now we have over 9 days to go ahead and complete this, and you want to make sure that you do, so that way you can get those exoskeleton shards. Frontier Clash. You want to go ahead and knock this out, so that way you can get that golden gear. Frontier Evolution. Now we have a new season. You want to go ahead and try to knock that out, so that way you can get those extra Brevey rolls. Origin of War. We're in another new season, and you want to go ahead and try to knock this out before the difficulty drops below 600%, so that way you can get all of the rewards. Void Red. If this is the first time boss for you want to go ahead and knock it out. Void Abyss. You want to try to get a strong team together and go ahead and knock this out, so that way you can get all of those rewards. And this is the tech that I use. I decided to be a flame main DPS, and I was able to clear it with my team. Raids. This week we have Gluttonous Feast, so you need to try to get a team together, so that way you can knock this out. But if you have trouble doing it on challenge, I recommend that you do Heroic, to where you're still going to get 95% of the rewards. And Prison of Execution. If you have not already done this, then I recommend that you do this with a team, at least on Heroic, because this does go away in a day. Break from Destiny. Now you want to make sure that you do this at least one time, so that way you can get those 250 dark crystals before the month ends. And how you're able to tell if you did it before the month ends is by clicking on this information tab and seeing if you did it. So as you see, I currently have not done Break from Destiny yet. Arena. If you're trying to reach Grand Marshal, you might want to put a couple hours in each day. Also, if you're trying to get things from the critical store, you might want to try to get a few critical points at least every week. Then we got our daily buys, so you want to go to shop and take a look and see if your monthly pass is still active, because this is the best deal in the game. And then for my dolphins, you want to try to make sure that you have this weekly thing active, because this is a very good deal as well. Bringing us to the hot tab, and we have Vitality Solution. And again, I recommend that you get no more than 2 a day, because if you do, that's basically giving up 21 rows for every new character. And if you need booster modules and advancement modules, you might want to consider buying those. And then we have the limited gift pack, to where just like in Meow, we have a couple Brevey Pacific ones, so be sure to check those out and see if any of those are a good deal for you. Which brings us to the Commissary, starting with the Crystal Dust Store. So you want to make sure that you buy your very special gift, your Potent Omnium Crystal, your advancement modules, your booster module, your augmentation box, and your augmentation factor. FaceTime Store, you want to buy your advancement modules, your booster modules, your data repeaters, and if you have extra crystal fragments, you want to go ahead and buy your IP shards. Peru Store, now the only things that I recommend that you spend your points on are relics, and the relics that I recommend are either Space-Time Rift or Omnium Shield. Support Store, if you have excess points, then you can buy your gold and space-time crystal fragments, and if you have excess points, then you can consider buying black nucleus and joint supply chips. And if you have returner points, I recommend that you buy proof of purchase. And other than that, you can consider buying space-time crystal fragments, radar detectors, and gold nucleus. Point Store. Now the only thing that I recommend that you spend your points on are spare special gifts, so that way you don't have to do training, black market, or see this island again. But if you need to level up your matrices or weapons, then you can consider buying matrix data packs and weapon batteries. And with your critical points, I recommend that you buy Veron. And if you have excess points, feel free to buy accessories. But besides that, I just recommend that you explore the map, so that way you'll be ready for the next patch. Well, hopefully you guys enjoyed this. If so, I would greatly appreciate a like, so that way this can spread more on YouTube. But other than that, I'll talk with you guys later.